Hey everybody, my name is Britt with Vine Dresser Lawn and Landscape. Today we're going to talk about spring watering. We're going to go over our spring watering guide for southeastern North Carolina to include Wilmington, Leland, and Hampstead. Start off and just real quick. I am on state extension website, and this is Bermuda Grass Lawn Maintenance Calendar for March through May, and they suggest that when Bermuda grass is growing, supplement rainfall is needed so that the lawn gets an inch of water each week. A bluish gray appearance or wilted, folded, or curled leaves may indicate that it's time to water. Use a screwdriver or similar implement to check for proper saturation. Sandy soils require more frequent watering, about a half inch of water every third day. So they're saying an inch a week. Our sandy soil around here, an inch and a half. If you got clay soil, which accept water slowly, irrigate just until runoff occurs. Wait until the water has been absorbed and begin watering again. Continue until the desired depth or amount is applied. All right, so they're saying an inch to an inch and a half for Bermuda, for zoysia. You can see here for St. Augustine, same thing. Centipede, March through May, inch and a half every third day. And so right here is a web extension as well, and it's called Water Requirements for North Carolina Turf Grasses. You can go through here, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of information on evapotranspiration and watering techniques. But I'm going to use it just to show you that irrigation requirements for Wilmington, North Carolina area. Average rainfall. So March, it's going to rain about 4 inches. April, it's going to rain 2.5 to 3 inches. May, it's going to rain 4 to 4.5 inches. And so think about it. There's 5 weeks in March, and they say to water an inch and a half a week. So 5 times 1.5 is 7.5. You need 7.5 inches for the whole month. And March, it's going to rain probably 4 inches. So you need anywhere from 3.5 to 4 inches of irrigation. God assumes that it is not raining. And so just go through our spring watering guide, March and April. All right, we suggest an inch and a half per week, 1 to 1.5 inches per week. As spring approaches, it's time to start thinking about your lawn's watering needs. We've compiled an essential guide to help you keep your lawn healthy and vibrant throughout the season. And I will say this, that all our clients get this email format every quarter. We're going to, everybody on our contact list, suggested watering guides. And so some things to remember. Please remember that rainfall and weather patterns can significantly impact your lawn's water requirements. It's important to monitor conditions and adjust your watering accordingly. If it has rained heavily one day in a week, if it's rained heavily once, you may not need to water for several days. You may not need to water for that whole week. You're going to get an inch and a half of rain, let's say on Wednesday, you might not need to water that week. So you need to keep that in mind. But this guide assumes that we're not getting any rain. To have a successful lawn care plan, it's crucial that you do part to ensure your lawn is watered correctly. Our guide will provide the information you need to get started, but it's up to you to ensure your lawn receives the appropriate amount of water. With a little effort and attention, you can enjoy a lush, healthy lawn all season long. So our quick guide. Step number 1, watch out for signs that your lawn is drying out. Step number 2, give your lawn 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week. Number 3, figure out your average watering time. Number 4, estimated average watering times by sprinkler type. We're going to give you average watering times. These aren't concrete, but they'll get you started. Note your hot spots and conserve water. So number 1, your lawn will tell you when it needs more water. If you see cracks in the lawn, the turf is wilting, leaves are curling or folding, this shows signs that the turf needs water. Number 2, for your lawn to stay green, you need at least 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week. All right, number 3, determine your total weekly run time to achieve 1.5 inches. We give you the averages, but every lawn and irrigation system differs. All right, so there's 2 ways you can do this. You can just listen to our suggestions, or you can use catch cans. So you get a glass cup, coffee can. Coffee can is a pretty good tool, and you spread them out around the zone, and then you run your system for 15 minutes and measure the water in the cup. So you got your cups out in each zone. In each zone, you run it for 15 minutes, then you measure the water that's in that cup. If in 15 minutes you get a 1/4 inch of water, you'll have to run the zone for 60 minutes per week to average an inch of water. If you get a 1/2 inch of water in 15 minutes, you got to run it 45 minutes to achieve 1.5 inches of water per week. So you figure out how much in 15 minutes, and then you just multiply to figure out how long you got to run it to get 1 to 1.5 inches. So that we've done some calculations, and this is average run times by sprinkler type. Disclaimer, please remember that the averages listed below are only estimates. Every sprinkler system is different and will vary widely, as will plant and turf watering requirements. So spray head, 180-degree spray head. These are the spray nozzles. An average of 30 minutes for 1 inch of water a week. So you need to run it 10 minutes a day, 3 days a week to get 1 inch of water. All right, the rotary heads are an average of 2.5 hours for 1 inch of water. So you would need to run it 37 minutes, 4 days a week to get 1 inch of water. The MP rotors are an average of 2.5 hours for 1 inch of water. So again, you would need to run it 37 minutes, 4 days a week. Your plants and your turf will be the first to tell you if they need more water. So this is a guideline. If you got spray heads, 10 minutes a day, 3 days a week. If you got rotary heads, 37 minutes a day, 4 days a week, 37 minutes a day, 4 days a week for MP. And then you still want to monitor it. Like you want to be watching the weather, and if it rains, obviously don't run your irrigation. See how long it rains, and you might not need to irrigate but once that week. So you've got to, it's not a set it and forget it. You've got to be monitoring. And I know there's what am I trying to say? There's tools that you can attach to your irrigation system, and it'll shut it off when it's going to rain, and it'll detect the rain and how much rain and all that stuff. And those are all good, but this is just factoring in just simple. You got irrigation, monitoring it with the rain. All right, so when to water. Water early in the morning, 4 to 5 a.m. The best time to water your lawn is early in the morning before the sun gets too high and the wind blows too hard. This will help the water soak into the soil and reach the roots of the grass. It has also helped to prevent water from evaporating too quickly. Watering your lawn early in the morning will also help prevent the grass from getting too wet and will ensure it will dry by the time you or we need to mow it. So 4 or 5 a.m., very early in the morning. Like if it takes 2 hours to run through your whole irrigation system and you set it on at 4, it's going to be done at 6, and then you could possibly mow it by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. You might want to set this back to 3 or 4 a.m., if you want it to dry out before you get it cut. Coverage issues are a big watch out for homeowners. Trying to grow an evenly green lawn. You can apply the correct run times and water your lawn every week, but if you have coverage issues, you'll see brown patches in your lawn. We call these hot spots. Coverage issues result in some areas getting a 1/2 inch of water while other areas get 1 inch of water. North Carolina heat will expose every weakness in your sprinkler system. When it gets hot, the areas that get a 1/2 inch will start to brown before those that get 1 inch do. This will make brown spots appear on your usually green lawn. Improperly designed systems can cause coverage issues, heads not spraying correctly, low pressure problems, wrong nozzles, head space too far apart. All right, I'm going to stop right there. So, like, a good rule of thumb is beginning of the season, right now, you need to check your irrigation system, make sure it's working, make sure it's covering everything, Make sure it's covering all areas of the lawn. Make sure that all getting equal coverage. Sure that no low pressure problems, nozzle problems, the headspace too far. That you want to get all that out of the way before the season starts. And then in the middle of the season, you want to check that irrigation again. And then at the end of the season, you want to check it one last time. So you want to check it 3 times a year at least to make sure that everything's functioning properly so that you don't wake up, next spring and you've got serious issues. All right, ensure you are not overwatering your landscape and turf. Water conservation is critical to ensure we have water for many years. If it rains, you can reduce your irrigation for that week depending on the amount of rain. So if you're shooting for 1.5 inches a week and it rains 0.5 inch, just water 1 inch. And then, whatever it rains, subtract that from the total for that week, and then you can figure out what you need to water. If your controller has seasonal adjustments, this is a great feature. Search for seasonal adjustments on the internet to discover more info and learn how to use it. All right, so I hope this guide gives you a starting point for watering. Now we would suggest water 1 inch to 1.5 inches a week. If you're not getting that in rainfall, you're going to have to cut your irrigation system on. Secondly, I would say don't just set it and forget it. You need to monitor it. You need to be checking your lawn on a weekly basis and kind of tweaking it. You might only need to run it 2 days a week. You might need to run it 4 days a week. You don't want it too wet. You definitely don't want it cracking and seeing your grass curl. Hope this helps you out. If we can help you out in any way, let us know. Thanks.